Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast. I'm your host, Mike Luke. All right, now go ahead and check out. We all got all kinds of good PHNX merchandise coming out right now. You can get we got a clearance sale coming on. Check it out. Again, all kinds of good stuff. PHNX is having 30% off every sale for the Monday through Wednesday. Head over to phnxlocker.com to check out the merch, and discount is automatically applied at checkout. All right, a man that needs no introduction, but we'll give him one anyway. The great Jason Shear. Hello, Shear. How are you doing?
Splendid, Michael. Thank you.
All right, now the Arizona fan base cracks me up. I'm part of the Arizona fan base, obviously, but after Washington State. And our good friend Tony Gimino, who you actually like, made this point as well. He said, every fan says you can't lose this game. You can't lose that game. And it happens. You look around college basketball, it happens. Arizona lost that game against Washington State. But guess what? Every other team has losses like that as well. Arizona bounced back in a big way against Washington. These losses happen.
Arizona has 6 losses. There are now 3 teams, I believe, maybe 4. Yes, 4 Power 6 teams with less losses. That's it.
Right. I mean,
so
it is what it is. Oh,
yeah,
by the way, Kilroy, you owe me a free night of drinks at Bob Dobbs. Matt Muehlbach said Mini Mamba multiple times. Okay, but anyways, but yeah, I mean, on a serious note, when people say you can't have a loss like that, I feel like we're almost kind of living in a bubble, because every other team has losses like that. And what's that stat you just threw out there, Shear?
There's only, I mean, I would have to count, like, I don't want to be, so Houston, Purdue, and UConn have 3 losses. And South Carolina has 5. So there's 4 teams, Power 6 teams, Power 5 teams, whatever you want to call it, that have less losses than Arizona. That's it. And South Carolina sucks.
Right, exactly. So I don't really quite get that. But again, there are some concerns, obviously, and those concerns are but we're going to focus on some of the positives here. Keshad Johnson. Listen, everybody I think has been talking about the X factor, this and that. You know, is it Kylan? Is it Pella? I think we've actually had this one wrong a little bit. We'll get to Kylan in a second. Obviously, had some stuff happen in that game. But Keshad Johnson, to me, is the X factor for this team. When Keshad Johnson comes out and plays the way that he did, when he's energy, when he's blocking shots, when he's finishing in transition, dude, this is a different team. And he's got an upside that we've seen, and that's why I want to see more of it, Shear.
Keshad against Washington was everything you want from Keshad. That was the perfect Keshad. He's running up and down the court. He's dunking. He's blocking shots. He's not – and against Washington State early in the game, I didn't think he was good. He was shooting fadeaway jumpers, and it's like, I get you came here to be, more of an offensive player. That's great.
That ain't your ticket to the NBA, bro.
Right, but and you can still get points the way you did against Washington. He finished with more points. So when he plays like that, he is really, really good. And my guess is that's more of the Keshad we see during the tournament.
Yeah, and that's hopefully that was, if anything came out of that game, hopefully it's kind of a reckoning that Keshad Johnson can do that. And I've been saying this all season. Listen, a guy like Caleb Love, he's going to have good games, going to have bad games. That's just the way that he plays. You can't force the ball into the hole. But with Keshad, when you're an energy, when you're a strength, when you're an athletic person, that's where it's at. That's what I don't get, Shear.
Yeah, I mean, Keshad, like you said, like Caleb Love is very, it's a skill thing, right? Like he's going to create his own shot, go to the rim and all. Keshad doesn't necessarily have that skill base, but if he plays with a ton of energy, he's going to be successful. It's just that, you need to kind of find that balance. And it's, again, like because of Keshad's experience and all that, my guess is we see that energy in the NCAA tournament. Like we've seen that teams pick it up and the veterans always play hard and all that. Like I don't worry about Caleb Love. I don't really worry about Keshad Johnson, but during the regular season, like now, it's frustrating.
Yeah, and so again, that's what we need out of Keshad Johnson. All right, now We're going to get to all of the teams that we need in the all the teams that we need to root against, root for in the NCAA tournament, all of those teams. But first, we'd like to send a special thank you. I'd like to spend a special thank you to ASU for being useful pawns against Washington State. The only game they choose to win is against a team that Arizona needed ASU to win. ASU, thank you.
That was predictable too. I woke up that morning and I saw the spread was only 5.5. And I said, there's something suspicious about this game. But then ASU comes out, and I think Washington State had like 7 turnovers in the first 5 minutes. And you're like, okay. The only reason, you can't trust the Bobby Hurley team, but that's huge. And I realized that Washington State has 3 games, and they're all at home. But I think they're going to lose another. Arizona might too, but I think Washington State's going to lose another. Sweeping the LA schools at home is still not easy.
That is one thing that we applaud ASU for doing. Thank you for being pawns in all of this.
It's going to be funny when Arizona wins the conference thanks to ASU and UCLA.
I mean, we got to give them a lot of credit where credit's due. All right, Oumar Ballo, leader of men. Listen, I've probably at times been a little bit too hard on Oumar Ballo, leader of men, but I've always been a fan of Oumar Ballo, leader of men. He is listen, man. This is definitely going to be the guy that when he's gone, people are going to look back and be like, man, we should have appreciated him more. You don't see dudes, and Anthony Chimino, again, a guy you actually like, made a point where he said that in the double-doubles that Ballo gets, these are real double-doubles. These aren't 11 and 10. These are like 19 and 14 double-doubles.
I tweeted this yesterday, and I'm very confident saying, like, if Caleb Love wasn't playing so well, Oumar Ballo is your conference player of the year. Like, right. To me, he's been the second best player in the conference over the last month or so. You're right, like 14 and 14. Like, these are real, and they're against good teams. Teams know that Oumar is the there. Like, they're doubling if they have to, and he's been awesome. I mean, he's been really, really good, and I still get a little uncomfortable when he gets the ball in the post and he wants to dribble.
Don't want any of that. Yeah. Don't want any of that. Agreed.
That's not his game, but the lob game with him and Caleb Love, it's borderline unstoppable. I mean, that's one of the biggest. That's one of the best offensive plays the team has.
All right, now, do you think that if there was any way to bet on this on the BetMGM Sportsbook app, I wouldn't surprise me if there actually was a little bit of a prop bet. Maybe there was a leader of men prop bet. What say you, Jason Scheer?
Hey, there should be.
Yes, exactly. Here's the deal. Sign up for BetMGM. Use bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app for at least $5. You will receive $150 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for details. We both like the over of whatever it is for Oumar Ballo, leader of men. Now, game time as well. Let's say that you're not like Scheer and you can't go to all the cool stuff. Or let's say you want to see Scheer in Vegas, but you don't know where to find tickets. Here's the deal. Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right, now, Arizona, I want a number 1 seed. This matters to me, or at the very least, I want a number 2 seed out west. The 3 number 1 seeds are already spoken for. You've got Purdue, you've got UConn, and you've got Houston. Those 3 teams are not going anywhere. Arizona right now, I believe, is penciled in as that number 1 seed out west, or at the very worst, that number 2 seed out west. The teams that Arizona fans need to be rooting against: North Carolina, Tennessee, Creighton, and Kansas. Those are the 4 teams to root against, and those are the only ones that I believe have a chance of being a number 1 seed. Sure.
Creighton? You mean Marquette?
I mean Marquette. Marquette. Sorry. Creighton. Yeah, no, Creighton. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking of Bruce. Marquette.
Yeah, you're right. Look, but I'm a full believer that Arizona should be a 1 seed, but if you look at Tennessee's schedule, like if they went out in the regular season and they move up to 1, I get it, because they still have Kentucky, Auburn, Alabama, and I don't remember. South
Carolina, I believe.
South Carolina. It's like if you went out on that and you take Arizona's place as a 1, I get it. Marquette, if they went out, it would mean that they beat UConn, right?
Right.
Okay, you can make an argument. Kansas, I don't think Kansas is a 1, but I guess if they went out, you make that argument.
Yes, but I don't believe they're a 1 as well. But you can certainly make that case. But again, the one that I'm worried about here is North Carolina in all of this, because I don't believe that Tennessee is going to be able to traverse that schedule. I think they're going to lose games. I also, like I said, Kansas, this just isn't a vintage Bill Self team. You got a great starting five, but you don't really have much on the, you don't have much off the bench. It's just not a dominating Kansas team. And then, Marquette, you got UConn. I'll let that one. Although I'm fine if they're the number 1 seed out west and Arizona's the number 2 seed. North Carolina is the one team that they're the ones that I really would keep an eye on in all of this.
And Carolina's weird when you look at their schedule. Like, I know they're really good offensively, but I wouldn't mind Carolina's like,
no, I don't either.
In the West. Like, their good wins are very limited. I think at the end of Tennessee, they beat early in the year. That's obviously good, but they've lost to Georgia Tech, who isn't good. They lost to Syracuse the other day, who's not a tournament team. They lost to Villanova. Yeah, I guess if they went out, but even if they went out, their schedule is similar to Arizona, like Miami, NC State, Notre Dame, and Duke. So they're out of their last 4 games, only one of them is a tournament team.
Here's where I guess I don't want to say I'd rather play a Marquette. And maybe I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth. North Carolina's got very good top end talent, in my opinion. Obviously, as Brad Alice calls it, Armando Bucat is obviously a good up front. RJ Davis is good. It is funny that Harrison Ingram is good after he got out of Stanford. Hard to believe. They have solid top end talent, but I also think that Hubert Davis. So I don't really worry about them. I would just, like I said, I think I'd rather play Marquette. That's my only point.
I'd rather play North Carolina. I think no, I don't know. It's close. The reality is Arizona's going to have to beat one of these teams if they want to make a run anyway, right? So, like, it's funny. Like, I do the same thing. It's like I'd rather play this team and this team, but I just want to beat Princeton. I just want, right? Like I just want to win a first round. We were talking last night. Like, and I even saw bracketology before we went on air. I have no doubt, Mike, that Arizona is going to be in some capacity a possible second round matchup versus Nebraska.
And you know what's funny? Nebraska doesn't stink.
No, what's the nickname for him? I don't want to sound too racist.
Nebraska ball.
No,
I'm not touching that one. You can touch that one. I know where you're going. I ain't touching that.
Kisei, we'll just say Kisei is
he's good.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's really good.
That's a good team.
Yes, he's good. Shout out Kobe Thiel. Kobe Thiel has been talking about him for quite a while. But I'm also still more, and I know this is a cliche. I'm also still more about that. Arizona just needs to take care of its business because listen, Arizona should beat all of the teams remaining on the schedule. I don't care what Seth Curry. I don't care what Seth Davis says about Arizona. I believe if Arizona wins out. And I think Arizona has one game. Arizona has one game that they can drop during the regular season and the tournament. I think if you win out, you can lose one game in the tournament. It just can't be against a bum team like ASU. But I believe there's one loss to play with.
And here's the deal, though. Like, and people, including yourself, Michael, we have to. When did we forget that the conference tournaments have no value? Like they don't impact seeding.
True.
I guess you could say if Tennessee loses a game and wins the SEC tournament, maybe they're considered a 1, but we haven't seen that.
Right.
Like if Arizona loses to, let's say Arizona wins out the regular season and loses to UCLA in the semifinals of the Pac-12 tournament, that won't drop them. Will not. Now, if they lose their first game to Oregon State, okay, maybe we consider it. But it's conference tournaments in the past have not had that big of an impact on seeding.
And it's so much too that Sheer. Oh, by the way, I am Sheer and I will be hanging out. In Vegas signing autographs. I will be giving the way to Jason Sheer to check it out. All right, but either way, those are the teams that you need to keep an eye on. Now, when it comes down to the best team in college basketball, I believe there's 2 teams if I'm taking Arizona out of the equation. Okay, taking Arizona out of the equation. I'm not backing the A here, but because I'm biased for the A. It sounds terrible. But
I know exactly. There's two very clear teams.
UConn and Houston are clearly the two best teams in the country. It's not even close.
Yeah,
We're not back in the A on this.
Yeah, I mean, look, when UConn plays well, like when they're on, they're ridiculous. It's a bad matchup for Arizona. I watched Houston versus Baylor, and when they're hitting shots like they did in that first half, they're ridiculous. I mean, those to me are by far the two best teams in the country.
Yes, and honestly, they're also the two teams that you look at them.
Don't want Arizona to face them.
It's also hard to see those teams. Like I look at Purdue, I can see Purdue getting bounced in the round of 32. Maybe not in the round of 64 this year, but I can see Purdue getting bounced in the round of 32. Totally possible. Oh, by the way, there's a few tickets left for the takeover up in Phoenix. Go to gophnx.com and get these takeovers. They've got a couple tickets left. Get in there, check it out. You can hang out with the great Jacob Franklin, who might be up there as well. By the way, we had a super snap I didn't read. Sorry. The Charming Billy. What's up, duders? Bear down, back the A. You too, buddy. And UConn doesn't stink. As smart as you are, UConn doesn't stink. He thinks UConn stinks. Those are the only two teams, though, that I can see like not getting bounced early. Like if UConn gets bounced in the round of 32 or Houston does, I'd be like, something happened here. Something mysterious happened along the way. Yeah.
There's teams like when I mention matchups, like there's teams that are very obvious teams that if they're long and athletic, like Houston, don't want it. UConn, don't want it. Baylor, even though I don't think Baylor's that good this year, don't want it. Like those are the type of teams that, but again, Arizona's going to have to beat these teams to win the title.
Yep, that's the way it is. All right, now let's talk about the point guard situation here. I put out apology for Kylan Boswell. Listen, I'm going to still critique Kylan Boswell. And I don't think he's been good, but I've been a little relentless on it. I do apologize for that. So again, believe it or not, I didn't play high-level Division I basketball, and so maybe it's hard for me to really. But I will say this, Scare. When you look at it, somebody on your boards, by the way, where can they find you doing your stuff?
WildcatAuthority.com. Our guy Fry Rice with the post of the season with the splits and all that.
It's wild. I don't have it in front of me because I'm too lazy to actually read it because it was super long. But basically, Arizona is like the best team in the world when Jaden Bradley is on the court. When Jaden Bradley is not on the court, they are not the best team in the world. That's essentially what it comes down to.
Yeah, but it's also much closer than we would have thought when Arizona has to run half-court offense.
Right.
The difference being obviously that Bradley is a superior defender to Boswell. Offensively, in a half-court offense, it's probably much closer than people think.
Right, and that's why. But you've also been part of that. You've also been part of that cult that is saying that Bradley is a lost cause offensively. You are wrong this year.
Here's the problem. Like, you're right. We've been like
no, not me. You.
No. I mean, you're right in the sense that the Boswell stuff has gotten a little out of hand. Like, I realized that, like, after I posted the GIF or whatever, and I said it was bad body language, which it was. Like, I wasn't killing Boswell. It was bad body language. Some of the responses were just insane. Right. But the problem is that in order for that gap, you're right. Like, in order for me to feel comfortable playing Bradley, he has to be better offensively. He was awful last week. He was bad.
Yeah, but I also don't understand why one's getting 27 and the other's getting 16 minutes. Those minutes to me have to be 50-50 at this point.
That's fine, but like Jaden Bradley was bad this week. Like the problem isn't necessarily Kylan Boswell. The problem is a point guard problem. Like Jaden Bradley had 5 points on 2 of 9 shooting for the week. But I realize like he defends well and all that, so I can kind of live with it.
That's more than you're getting from the other.
No, it's not. It's not.
Kylan Boswell is defending like Jaden Bradley is?
No, I'm saying Jaden Bradley is better defensively. Offensively, I think Kylan's probably still better.
All right, but I'm saying that the gap there is much closer offensively than it is defensively. You would agree with this?
That's fair. Yeah.
Okay.
I just think Arizona needs more out of their point guard position. I don't care if it's Bradley or Boswell. They just need more.
And one thing that we can't have happen, I keep getting people that say this on the postgame show, and I understand. I'm not putting Caleb Love at the point. There's Caleb Love, and that's funny. I tell Jamari Phillips dad this all the time. This shouldn't get me in trouble. Listen, when you have an ability to score the ball, you embrace that role of scoring the ball. Have somebody else pass you the ball because not a lot of guys have the ability to score the ball. Caleb Love can do that, as can Jamari Phillips, Jason Shearer.
Yeah, I think that ball movement slows down considerably if you put Caleb Love at the point. It doesn't allow him the freedom to get open. I don't mind Caleb Love, obviously, but I think we can both agree sometimes he gets the tunnel vision. And as a point guard, you don't necessarily want that. But like Arizona just needs better point guard play. Like the two teams we were just talking about, like Jamal Sheed at Houston, that's bad. Like who's like that's
if Arizona
that's
had Severe Wheeler.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're not even talking about a game breaker or anything. We're just talking about a good, solid point guard.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Now, do you think that these guys have been to the Gila River resorts and casinos this year?
They're probably there right now before the ASU, or they're probably staying there before the ASU
Pella
game.
just turned 29 the other day, so I assume that Pella is there as well. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. A fun, authentic experience and some burros. Sheer, I always forget. Have you had some burros before or no?
No, but maybe I will on Wednesday before the game.
Let some burros cater your next meal, big or small. Order online or find one near you by visiting someburros.com. Family owned and operated, all kinds of good stuff. Arizona's most beloved Mexican restaurant. All right, in about 10 minutes, we got.
You know what's funny about your age joke? Pella's really only 23, I think. Jose Perez is 26 years old.
Dude. Not only that, who's the doofus on ASU? Or not ASU? Who's the doofus on Oregon that I found out was 26 or 27?
Yeah, the dude from Georgia, right? Well, how old's Jermaine Cuisinart? Right?
No, that's who it is. Cuisinart's like 26 or 27. It's one of the two.
He is 26.
What
are we doing here, guys? What are we doing?
Pella's
23. He's a senior. That's normal. That's not that bad.
He's a year, but
Perez, when you watch him on Wednesday, he's got a little gut. He moves. He's almost 30.
Yeah, that is very, very funny. I do agree with that. But Arizona to me should smack ASU. It is funny when you watch ASU just for a minute, and I actually watch. Javon Quinterly still is in college, I believe. By the way, who's the woman Quinterly? Are they related?
I would assume all Quinterly's related. Javon's at Memphis.
Yeah, okay.
He sucks.
Yeah. But what were we talking about? It was something very important.
You think that I'm laughing. You'll like this. If Erica's still in here, Adia just apologized for all the people she accidentally blocked.
All right, let's talk about that just for a second. Coach, this is my opinion. Adia Barnes is wildly more successful than I'll ever be. You don't need to go on Twitter and block 10,000 people. Everybody on here has probably been blocked by Adia Barnes at some point. And like Brian Peterson, I don't even think that Brian Peterson has ever talked bad about Adia Barnes.
It was an accident, but away from the personal stuff, we should shut out the women's team. That was pretty wild this weekend. That
was very, very good. That was very, very impressive. And it's very good it's very good that you have you have a beat writer now for Arizona women's basketball. Sheer branching out, having Scott Schlittenhardt as a senior editor covering football, having Erica Day covering Arizona women's basketball. You're expanding beyond belief.
People can only look. I'm even going to the Pac-12 tournament this year. We're all over the place.
I get full credit though for bringing you your AIDS. Oh, that sounds terrible. I get full credit.
Yeah, you gave me AIDS, Mike.
Jason Shearer AIDS on the AZ Wildcats podcast. But no. Oh, by the way, I listened on the radio. I listened to the entire Arizona women's basketball game against California yesterday. It was a blast. I will say this. I plan on listening to a lot more of Arizona women's basketball games on 1290.
So here's the deal. And I don't mean this in a negative way at all. So if you're listening to this is not negative. Shelby and I for weeks, months, have listened to women's games on the radio because the play-by-play guy is, let's say, passionate, right?
Very passionate.
Passionate. And it is funny. It's just funny. It's a great listen. I suggest you guys all listen to it. We will literally drive around and Mike finally listened to it and he calls me. He's like, oh my God. I was like, I know. I've been trying to tell you.
Dude, this guy is absolutely Derek Palmer, great dude, but he is fantastic. Like there is a play where the ball got knocked out of bounds or like a foul or something, and he says, "Oh shucks, they really called a foul on that." And then he said he got knocked down on the keister. And
He's like a fan calling the game. So if there's a bad call, like he's yelling, like, "What an awful call!" And it's like, yes, that's what I'm thinking.
But you know what's also great too is there's like 40-second pauses for no reason, which just totally makes it awesome. Again, I messaged Sheer immediately and I said, "Do the women's basketball team they play on different days than the men?" Which is the case. I will be listening to this every single game. You have a new lifelong fan there. It's wildly entertaining. I mean,
yeah, and like but like honestly, like it's funny because like Ben White and I once when we drove to LA, we were listening on satellite radio to all these announcers. And Brian Jeffries, to this day, is still the most professional one I've ever heard compared to the other. Like, you've got guys screaming, you've got guys like yelling at the refs, and Brian Jeffries is just very even keeled. He's the GOAT.
Have you told Cody James Martin, your esteemed Cody James Martin, about this?
That was the worst take I've ever heard.
We're not going to even get into that, but Brian is the GOAT. Brian is very, very much the GOAT. All right, but I will be listening to all Arizona women's basketball games on the radio from here on out. Derek Palmer never changed. That was fantastic. I just don't know. It's funny because, and I don't know a lot about the women's game, to put it mildly. I don't even want to really get into this, but I thought the game was over 40 seconds or 40 minutes in because he says, "Well, we got 2 minutes left to play in the game or 2 minutes left." And I'm thinking the game just started. He said 2 minutes left to play in the second. And I'm thinking to myself, I was just tuned into this. So
it's great.
It's a learning process for me. By the way, no, I have multiple degrees. Hold on, somebody here. No, I did not go to ASU. I went to the U of A, but Totri is coming on here. And we're going to make fun because that's maybe the funniest bet that I've ever seen somebody lose. All right, real quick with football, Jason Shear. We got to talk about this for a second. Tacario Davis is at practice. Tacario Davis is going through everything with the team. All indications are that Tacario Davis is back, but I will tell people that he's in the portal still. He can still leave whenever he wants. Things look good, but so far, I mean, no news is good news, but he's still in the portal, Sheer.
Yeah, he's in the portal. Like, he could literally leave in the next minute, you know? Now, do I think he is? As of now, no. He's going to go through spring ball. That would be my guess. He goes through spring ball, and then he'll make a final decision if he wants to stay in the portal or not. But I think it's too early to say he's definitely coming back next year. Until he's out of the portal, it's who knows?
It is. Now, again, I think he's operating. Yeah, no, the portal, that's the key. That's the misconception, Dennis Walsh, the great Dennis Walsh. The portal, you just have 30 days to get in the portal. Once you're in the portal, you can essentially stay in the portal for the rest of your life if you want.
I just got a text that Brandon Ashley was Japan's player of the week. I didn't know he was in Japan. Yes, like that's the big misconception. You had it too, Mike. You can stay in the portal as long as you want.
Yeah, which to me that's kind of stupid. I'm all for players being able to do whatever they want. But at the same time, let's be honest here.
And if you notice, like Arizona, for instance, notice that spring game is a little later. It's on April 27th. This is all it's all strategy. Every team's doing it because there's another portal from April 15th to the 30th.
Right.
So it's all strategy. All these teams now have late spring games and all that.
All right, Erica and Kobe, you two, you take your love fest offline. This is a serious show that we're talking about. Keep an eye on the kids out here. All right. But so that's the deal with Tacario Davis. So far, so good though. But he's giving him an open. He's at least not putting his jersey out. Telling him to buy it as he plans on going to another school. All right, now back to Arizona, and then we're bringing in Totri here to talk about a very funny bet. By the way, Sheer, are you good for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yes, excellent. All right, now as far as back to Arizona basketball for a second, the bench. One thing that I thought was really kind of the trump card for this team was their bench. Their bench play outside of Jaden Bradley. Again, Mount Crevis had some good games. KJ Lewis has gone into the toilet. I still believe KJ Lewis is going to be a lottery pick, but he's definitely hit that freshman wall. He fouls all the time. Arizona's got to get their bench up to par there, Jason Shearer.
Yeah, I asked Tommy if KJ's hit that freshman wall, and he didn't seem to think so, but I do, right? Like he's fouling a lot. He looks lost in screen action. They need a bench. They need something out of him. That is a worry in the tournament, not necessarily because I think Arizona needs to go deep. It doesn't in the tournament. It's if a guy gets in foul trouble, like he's got to be able to come in and play and not, be a negative. And right now, I don't know if I wouldn't say he's a negative, but he's not the positive that he was a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, no, that was awesome. I'm getting mean text messages from people right now. I don't understand. That was the kids. Come on. All right, now let's talk a little bit about. All right, now hold on. What are you going to say?
Arizona didn't drop as much as I thought they would.
What did they just drop to?
6.
You know what, Bruce? Guess where Bruce put him? Because I had Bruce on the radio earlier today. Guess who Bruce had? Guess who Bruce had on the show? Or not on the show. Guess who?
I would say Bruce had Arizona at 8.
Bruce had Arizona at 7. I asked Bruce if he dropped him out of the top 10.
Yeah,
and he said it was a really difficult decision, but he decided not to. Okay, now let's see here. Let's get into a little bit of hold on. All right, dude, these kids texted me. All right, now, let's get these reads in real quick. Let's see, what do we want to read? Oh, geez, Jason Shearer, have you had OGs lately?
I have not. Mike, I have to let my dog out. You do your read. I'll be right back.
All right, okay, yeah. OGs. Check it out. OGs, my friends. To learn more about OGs, gummies, and where you can find them, head on over to ogsbrands.com. You will thank me later. Yes, that Ryan Mitchell, that Philly B pass was absolutely atrocious. That was not good. The Philly B pass, do you remember the Philly B pass at the end of the game? Sure.
Let Philly cook.
Dude, just let Philly do his thing, man.
Philly lost a lot of people money.
Yeah, Philly did. That was terrible. But we love Philly on this show. And what else do we got? Arizona Lottery. Shearer, have you ever won the Arizona Lottery?
Multiple times, Mike. That's why I'm going to Vegas this year.
Dude, I know. Exactly. Arizona Lottery. All right. The Arizona Lottery is not just about playing games and winning prizes. It's about community, like Jason Shearer. All right. Now, it's time to give back to the state and its communities. Visit azadventure.com for more information on how you can take an adventure for a chance to win $1 million in cash and travel prizes. All right. Now, this is going to be a lot of fun. Generally, I know that Toe Tree drives you guys all up a wall. But Toe Tree did something that was very, very funny this past. Hold on, Shearer, you come on as well. Hold on. All right, we got this. All right, Toe Tree. Toe Tree, just fill in the people what happened, because you went viral this weekend. Last I looked, I said it. You had something like 4 million views on a tweet. What is everyone talking about, Anthony Toe Tree?
They are talking about how I had the luxury of spending a whole 12 hours at a local Waffle House because I lost my college fantasy football league.
Okay, so but tell the people, though, that the gist of the bet, because it wasn't 12 hours. Because you bargained it down, pardon the pun.
Yeah, so you have to the Waffle House challenge is common fantasy football punishment, right? So the last place person has to spend 24 hours at a Waffle House. And for each waffle that you eat, you get to subtract an hour from your overall time. So I got there at 8:20 in the morning, feeling very, very confident in my abilities. I asked Damon, Damon asked me what I thought I was going to be able to accomplish. And I went in thinking 17 waffles was going to be the goal. And I'll tell you, the first 3 went down easy. It was, by all means, I thought I was going to be out of there by lunchtime. Waffles 4 and 5 were all right. You could start to, I felt like the bloatedness of it all. And then just waffles 6, 7, and 8, man, they will forever haunt my nightmares. It's those 3 waffles specifically that have made me hate like pretty much all breakfast pastries at this point.
Okay, so how did you consume waffles 9, 10, 11, and 12 then? Did you take, I know that you were reading Tom Brady and Kobe Bryant motivational videos.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was for waffles 5, 6, 7, and 8, there was no syrup. There was no syrup because it was just the flavor of it just consumed my mouth. You know, when you like drink too much one night and you wake up the next morning and all you can taste is that liquor.
Yeah.
That's what it was, but with waffles for waffles 5 through 8. So after 8, I took a solid like 2-hour break. I stood up, like was able to walk around, like just needed to even myself out a little bit. Shout out our partners at OGs. I partook in that the back half. So you asked me how 9, 10, and 11 and 12 went. Well, I ordered a side of bacon with 9 through 12. That way I could take a bite of a waffle and then have some bacon and just get the flavor out of my mouth. That's how I was able to push past it and get out of there in 12 hours.
Now, how much time did you spend in the toilet then?
At the Waffle House?
Yeah,
at the Waffle House.
Did you utilize the Waffle House toilet?
I mean, I didn't utilize the Waffle House toilet. It's a good thing my roommate's been gone all weekend. I'll just leave it at that. Just leave it at that.
Okay, all right. So you took care of business. But Totri, we also have to thank you though for some stuff. You guys were very useful for Arizona this week. Not often that we root for ASU on this show, but
yeah,
Totri, you guys did yeoman's work. You were very useful for us on Saturday. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I know. You were in the Die Hard Discord a little bit earlier saying we're all rooting for ASU, obviously, because that would help U of A's quest for a higher seed in the Pac-12 tournament. So I was iffy about it, man. At the time, I was like, dude, ASU really has nothing to play for, right? So beating Arizona, all it does is make life a little bit easier for you guys. So I was on the fence about it, but I'll be completely honest. There was a point in my day where all that I could think about was waffles. So I didn't have Arizona State basketball in my mind until the one and only Doug Tamaro decided to join me at the Waffle House.
Doug showed up?
Doug showed up. We had a blast, talked ASU hoops, talked Damon was there. We had a bunch of folks. Jesse from the PHNX Diamondback show. We had a bunch of people come through. It was definitely a good time, man. But yeah, ASU doing the most ASU thing ever, right? Getting absolutely mollywopped and then beating Washington State.
You do realize how lucky you are how good Doug Tamaro is, correct? You do realize
Doug
that
Tamaro is a
really,
legend.
There has not ever been a better SID in the entire country. It's just impossible. You can't be better than Doug Tamaro. It's just impossible.
Hey, man, I'm on the train for Dougie T for AD. Okay, we got an athletic director opening here at Arizona State. I'm all for Doug Tamaro. Put him in that position, man.
Sure. You know who Doug's very close with, even closer with than you are. With who?
Kyle, right?
No. Sean Miller.
Oh, yeah. Pittsburgh.
They were childhood buddies. Would you now? Could ASU hire Sean Miller? Would you be okay with this? I mean, seriously.
What are we doing, Mike? What are we doing?
And would Sean Miller take the job? Let me ask you guys that.
Oh, my gosh.
You would definitely not take that job, but it'd be really funny.
What if Doug Tamaro was announced as the AD? Would he take it then?
Doug's got to fix NIL.
All right. Yeah, that's probably fair. All right. Real quick before we then sign off, Totri, Arizona ASU, we got you again this week.
Yeah, we do.
One thing, though, that I wanted to confront you on with Sheer here is a take that you had that did not go over well with the U of A community amongst many takes.
Shocker.
Yes. You would rather have Jaden Rashada than Noah Fafita. Make your case. I
think Jaden Rashada has more. He's a higher ceiling. He's got the intangibles in terms of the height, the arm strength, things that you just simply can't teach, that you're simply born with. I understand Fafita had a better season, but I think if Rashada were able to get the level of development and have the style of season that I think a lot of people anticipate him having or wanting to have, I think his ceiling is just overall higher simply because of the things you can't teach.
This is actually very funny. Totri would also sleep with Whoopi Goldberg over Kate Upton.
That's crazy.
So you're on record as saying, though, that you would rather, for sure, no joking aside, you would rather have Jaden Rashada going forward than Noah Fafita. This is correct.
Correct. There you go. Okay.
All right. Totri, you're doing great work. Where can they find you later on?
Anthony_Totri. The Sun Devil show starts at noon. So I know there's a lot of Wildcat fans in the chat that find their way over to our show at times, but definitely hop on over.
Hop on over. Be nice. You can banter as much, but be nice. Totre's a good dude. All right. For Anthony Totre, for Jason Shear, I am merely Mike Luke. Hold on. I'm having to operate this by myself, and I'm technologically insufficient. Hold on just a second. You've been oh, by the way, get those takeover tickets. You can go hang out with Totre and all of the cool people there, Arizona ASU, this Wednesday. Get those takeover tickets. Only a few left. You've been listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.